Welcome back abroad, and thank you all for tuning in for part 2. Now we had just finished ordering our inventory and we were on cue for taking down the next block. Errol the Stonebreaker, a brutal mining foreman, just as adept at crushing stones as he is at crushing bone. Not even his incredible eye for recovering the refining materials was enough to stop him from getting run out of civilized society. His violent rage makes a fine motivator for the miners. In chase of Errol, I made my way down to the Bandit copper mine in central Vardoran woods. And with our new wolf form, I was able to avoid as many conflicts as possible and make my way straight to the Bandit copper mine and to find Errol. I avoided a few miners while making quick work of the rest before moving down to the big bad, and coincidentally netting myself some pre-copper in the way. When I finally approached Errol, I was hoping to take him out the way I did Keely, so I approached him directly. But he quickly knocked me out of my ass and I had to figure out another way. So I took care of some more of his lackeys and tried to cheese him over the wall, but it apparently did not work and he knocked me over again. So my whole strategy right now was just inching on running away from him and just trying to deal a little bit of damage every chance that I got. Presented with a newer challenge since the trails that his attacks left also left a burn effect, so I couldn't approach that area carelessly after that. So I went back to my original strategy of just hanging near the ledge and trying to heal up and get away from him wherever I could, and kind of funnel these enemies into one area so I could take them down with my spear as well. And although I took some additional burn damage, it seemed to be working fine. Did land a combo of heavy hits and kinda left me a little afraid for myself and just hoping to survive this interaction. But I kept on repeating what I knew was working and hopefully it was going to be fine. Coincidentally though, it seemed to be working for him as well, and I got hit by the same combo again that nearly fatally wounded me. After popping up some rats too, I was just trying to take him down again. His health finally seemed low enough that I saw a chance of victory. One more rat stew in and I had Errol on the edge. Keeping him at a distance as I dealt with his lackeys. Once I was finished, I finally went in for the kill. And behold, at last, we had won, drinking his blood and taking all of his knowledge for our own. I of course had to explore the area and loot the spoils of war. So I went ahead and did just that, taking this chest and all the copper that Errol had gone ahead and mined for me. With our spoils of war collected, I went ahead and checked the rewards we got for beating Errol. And we finally got a storage chest, which would probably solve our storage issues, and a chaos mastery point, which I was sure to come in handy. Now with everything collected, we went back into our full form and made our way back to our castle. And after an embarrassing amount of time spent on map and planning my way back as a directionally challenged vampire, I was finally on my way into building a castle that I could be proud of. As we were still missing a few key ingredients. And with our newly unlocked storage options, I spent an embarrassing amount of times organizing my storage and playing inventory wars. I went ahead, checked my unlocks, and placed down some newly unlocked furnaces to smelt all the copper that we had received from Errol graciously. After taking care of that, I evenly distributed the copper so that we could have it refined, and waited a little while to have it processed. Another 2 eternities later, I spent some time planning our moves ahead, and when we finally had some copper, we went ahead and crafted ourselves a new set of weapons. Next up on the agenda was crafting ourselves a new set of armor, but I was struggling way too much to find my way around the castle, so I went ahead and lit the place up and made it a little more homely for our regular uses. And now with our castle fully lit up, next up on the agenda was taking care of crafting. So I went over to my workbench, checked out which was required, and looked out for leather and all the essential materials we would be needing for the next set of armor. Fortunately enough, we had picked out just enough materials to complete our set of armor and finally get that boot pair. I went ahead and finally utilized my study to upgrade our knowledge on boots, unlocking a new pair I would be able to craft. And with our gear sets completed and some much needed deliberation, I finally decided on taking on the next boss, picking out Gorswine the Ravager. A mad cultist too far gone to be really intelligible. The malevolent being they serve pushes them to desecrate all things, with little regard to practicality. They wear a rotten pig's head as a decorative mask. Now, Gorswine was the first V-Blood that I had seen crossing by while I had just joined this server, and he was going to be my first official interaction with the Church of the Damned, this unholy cult that was hell-bent on desecrating dead just to achieve their own corrupted goals. And with that, we followed their putrid smell and made our way down to their last known location. But little did we know we would accidentally run into another V-Blood on the way, Lydia the Chaos Archer, with little deliberation about whether I should turn back or whether I should try to take this boss on. And unfortunately, against my better judgment, I tried to take her on. And for a second, it seemed like I might have a chance too. Unfortunately, not for me, the sun was not on my side. Yep, nope. I do not believe I can take her on. I struggled with her for a little bit longer before finally trying to make my escape and get away from her because I was not ready to take her on yet. However, in the process, we did manage to get very close to Gorswine the Ravager, our official next target. And with a little bit of healing and very little amount of our blood left, we were ready to take on our cultist. Okay, immediately ambushed us with a bunch of skelly boys, which we had to fight our way through. But as I was clearing my way through the hordes of skeletons, they kept just popping up more and more. So I decided to take down this one different looking enemy following him. It was apparently a skeleton mage that kept summoning skelly boys as well. And that did make the fight a little bit easier. But so far, this was the first boss that was giving me a very tough challenge. Okay, I might not be able to kill him. Discouraging thoughts appeared in my head, but we fought on. I'm gonna go ahead and get my heals in and see if we can. And with the moon out, we finally had a chance, so I tried to take him down, taking on a bit more of an aggressive approach. Secret rats too to help heal me up, it almost looked like I had a chance. Of course, one boy pulled out a massive AoE, but we managed to dodge most of it. Barely surviving his poison, I managed to heal up just barely in time. Let me heal. Oh man, don't let me die, don't let me die. And as the battle was close to nearing an end, it got very intense. It would be now or never. So freaking close. And there it was, my first death at the hand of a B-blood. Okay. Time for round 2. I think I understand it now, and see, this might be more helpful. Little change of the spells. I was ready to take him on again. Switched into my wolf form and made my way down back to Gory Time to take on my guy. Maybe could have done that a little better. At first glance, the first redo wasn't doing great, but I had that feeling. I understood it now. I was managing to chunk his health down much faster. Somehow Gory Boy made his biggest mistake. He allowed me to heal almost all the way up. Man really likes suffering. Okay. And yet somehow I'd still managed to get myself back into the same sinkhole of almost dying from the poison. Even though I was almost dying, I had the feeling I had a chance. I could take it. Neck and neck again. Who would win? All coming down to one decisive moment. Finally. Oh my god. And with a sigh of relief, I was victorious. Oh, that was, yeah. And the first reblood that gave me a lot of trouble was down. And with him, we acquired our first unholy spell point. With that, I unlocked Ward of the Damned, an unholy shield that blocks projectiles and summons Celeborn. Our first dive into my necromancer fantasy. We were again on our way to track down and hunt the next boss. And by the looks of it, it would be a rematch against Lydia. But before that, I figured out we could finally build up a grinder, a machine that would allow us to turn stones into bricks, and finally get us on our way to building our fantasy castle, proper resting place for a vampire. So we went ahead, gathered all of our stone, and got it into processing. And with that done, we were on our way to taking on Lydia the Chaos Archer. An adept but undisciplined archer, she lets her arrows fly and trusts that fate knows where to take them. And it works. Lydia is a force of chaos that cannot be contained, and the Bandit King is happy to let her do as she likes, as long as it benefits him. I ran into Lydia as she was taking on a pack of wolves, and I saw my opportunity and chose to engage her, hoping to pay her back for that earlier fight, and hoping that the Ward of the Damned shield would protect me from her arrows. We have our boy Alpha coming in, so let's see if he's gonna go ahead and attack her. Yep. Seizing the moon, where our old enemy Alpha joined the fight, we chose to take advantage, letting him tank and deal some extra damage. But alas, the few shots that Lydia got off dealt so much damage that I could not survive. And even quicker than last time, it was already time for round 2. This attempt seemed to be going much well. My Warlords shield and Skelly Boys seemed to be working. They worked as a fine distraction as I dealt some extra damage. And again, I had hope. And my plan seemed to be working. The skeletons were distracting and my shield was shielding me from her damage, so I felt like I could do it. The problem was, every time I did get hit, it would deal a lot of damage. And two of her spells basically one-shot me. I absolutely hate the ones that leave chaos fields. Okay, I'm dead as and once again, tragically enough, I was defeated. Although I had figured out that I was missing a key upgrade, a crafted ring that would make me able to take her on equal footing. But instead of going back and trying to craft something to take her on, we of course went the stupid way and tried to take her on again. And let's see how that went. And with one final humiliating defeat, it was finally time for me to go to base, upgrade in my castle, and hopefully get that upgrade that allows me to take on Lydia. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Leave a comment about your favorite V-Blood boss so far. And keep following weekly for the next episode, where we take on Lydia, build an amazing castle, and take down the king of the bandits and everyone in between. It's your boy Fade, signing out.